You're listening to 13 Questions on Scary Terry's Saturday Nightmare. Scary Terry's Saturday Nightmare is a 3-hour metal show heard every Saturday from 9 until midnight Central Standard Time on Rock 94.7, 102.9 FM in Central Wisconsin, and worldwide online at rock947.com. And now, more with Martin Van Drunen of Asphyx on Scary Terry's Saturday Nightmare. Okay, Martin, now I promise that this will be the only question I ask about this part of your career, but it has to be asked. Prior to joining Asphyx, you were a member of Pesitlence. My buddies and I totally wore out a cassette copy of 1989's Consuming Impulse back in the day.
I still have one copy of that one too, yeah.
The thing is, after all these years later, this album is regarded as a classic of the genre by critics,
yeah.
But you were one of the guys that made it. What are your feelings about Consuming Impulse?
Well, honestly, I mean, it's still like, a standard kind of setting album for that time, for those times, really. Now that I mean, at the time, I wasn't so convinced that it was so good, really. And from the long time ago, someone asked me too, like, what did the critics say in those days? Well, they liked it, but it wasn't euphoric in a way. We give them a 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10. It was usually like a 7 or an 8, But I still like the songs, and not too long ago, when I was in San Diego, I performed 2 songs with Ritual Torture, a local band from there, and really. Because they did it really the right way. They played the songs beautifully and really good, and with good lead guitaring also. And it just gave a lot of enjoyment really to play that stuff the way the way they should be played. So I still think it's a very good album. The only little thing about it is, and people will go like, he can't be serious about it. I think my vocals could have been better, but okay,
Okay, I have to say it now. Oh, you can't be serious about that. Come on, dude? Look, man. When I was in a band, we tried to imitate your style, and we failed miserably. But I mean, you set a bar there, man. Jeez. Between you,
it was honestly, nobody believes me if I tell them that it was the first trying out of that kind of vocal style in that studio, really, for me. So it was a bit new, and afterwards I was a bit of And now that I hear it, I go like, well, I think I can top it, but I'm not really sure. But on the other hand, it's like if an album is good for that time, you should leave it the way it is, because you can never improve it. Not anyway. Not any song is from that album you can improve. Just leave it as they are, because they are just killer songs, all of them. I still stand fully 100%. But like I said, for me, I might be able to do the vocals better than than in those days. But it's just like. A personal kind of thing.
You've had a few other non-Asphyx projects over the years, Hail of Bullets, Death by Dawn, and you even did a little time with Bolt Thrower. Is there a part of your creative process that needs to work with new faces on a regular basis?
Wow. No, not really. Well, not consciously, if I may say so, like that way. But it does always have a kind of a fresh input, well, not just with music, but also in life. If there's like interesting and motivating people, that you meet. With Asphyx, it was just for us like it was like a great kind of a killer shower that cleansed all of us when Alwyn came in the band. He brought this fresh enthusiasm, and he was so proud to be in the band, and it was just fantastic. So that helped a little bit with Deathhammer, but. On the other hand, for me, for example, with Hail of Bullets, it's a band that works completely different from Asphyx, and it's with a guy like Eddie, the drummer, to be with him in the studio. He taught me also things that I didn't know about, think in the way of writing vocal lines, because he's a drummer and he thinks, of course, like rhythmically, well, not completely different, but he has other ideas of putting vocals and rhythm in a song than I did. So that was. Yeah, that's very, that's just a great thing. So, that you're still not too old to learn and still are learning, even, being 25 years in this damn business,
I'd imagine it keeps it fresh for you.
Yeah, that's true. But it's not that I'm looking for that, like, oh, now I need something new, It's not that. Everything that happened just happened. It was not something that I was, I am looking for something to happen. It just all,
You've been a death metal vocalist for a couple of decades now. How is your throat feeling?
Fantastic. There's always all these people coming up like, oh, how about your throat cancer or blah, blah, blah. I go, no, I don't have anything. And the strange thing is, you sometimes read, like in some papers, or you pick up in the news or whatever, something on television when you're zapping, like, oh, this and this great, whatever, big-ass performer, whatever, has problems with his vocals. And I go, how can a bloody rapper, like, having problems with his vocals? He's just talking on stage. I mean, if I would have, I just don't understand it. I can't understand, because all I'm doing is, like, I have the discipline to train my voice, for shows, for albums. And I've been doing that, like you say, for now 25 years. And I've never lost it. I sometimes lost it, maybe 2 days on a tour, but that's just because, touring is so intense and you have to do it like every day, the set again. And for a voice like me, of course, it's a tough job. But then afterwards, you just find it back again and you go, okay, let's do another 20 shows in a row or something. So for me, I just can't understand it. For me, they're all like, sissies, whinies, whatever, that don't have their together, really.
Yeah, they need to man up a bit, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. That's the same little bit, with all these pussies that go like, oh, I need to, go back into Betty Ford. And you go, Jesus Christ, you've got millions. He says, all you can do is moan and whine about you being rich and not knowing what to do with your money except for snoring coke or taking crack or whatever. Come on, give me a break.
It's not rehab that they need so much as a sense of damn perspective. You know what I'm saying? Now, you had mentioned you train your voice and whatnot. Is there any sort of pre-show prep you have to do? Like, do you do some sort of vocal exercises, some sort of herbal tea or something?
Oh, no, beer and cigarettes.
I've been in training for years and I didn't even know it.
No, I mean, if you take me to some kind of a whatever vocal teacher or something, they would be horrified on what I do. But no, I mean, before a show, I know already, because what I do is on a week, I don't train my voice like fully every day. It's just you build it up slowly. One day you start with doing 3 or 4 songs, and the next day you take 5 or 6, and then, until the end of the week, and then you do the whole set if you feel it. But if it feels already good, then I just feel it the way it is. And then, you have the show, and drink a couple of beers or some cigarettes before that, and I make a few screams during the sound check and sing one song with the lads, and then I know, okay, it's fine, and it's got to be good tonight. But it's also a thing that you feel from yourself, I mean, because you know it already after all these years, if it's good or if it's not. So, no, there's no really exercise. I do have a kind of a ritual, but it's like different. That has nothing to do with training my voice. It's just that, that the time is coming where you have to go on stage, and you just find yourself all the way in the thing of, okay, it's time's coming for the show, and looking forward to it. But still, because you want to give your best and 100%, you have this kind of unconscious pressure on you. So you always want to perform and always give your best. So you try to focus on that. So I start usually walking up and against the walls, like, in backstage rooms or whatever. But people are used to that from me, and they know that I have to better stay away. Because I have that thing, like, since the beginning, since I started, and it never went away. And it's cool, though, I mean, now that I'm used to it.
In those weeks leading up to the shows, when you're warming up, maybe around the house or something, have your neighbors ever called the authorities because they were so alarmed by the sounds they were hearing?
Well, that's the reason why I have this kind of... what jet pilot fighters have, like these kind of oxygen masks?
Okay, yeah.
They use. Well, I had one because my dad gave it to me a long time ago when I was a kid, because it was a helmet of a pilot with it. So with that kind of thing, I mean, it's not giving oxygen, right? It's just a mask that I put against my face, so people can't really hear me, and then the music is loud. So just as you say, I was having the same thing. Like, okay, they're going to call somebody because they think I'm a Muslim, like slaughtering a sheep, like on the balcony or something, ritually. And,
gotcha.
So no, I mean, and next to that is that I do that during the day, like shortly before, like for example, neighbors, work and return at 5 or 7 or something. So. They're never bothered.
You're listening to 13 Questions on Scary Terry's Saturday Nightmare. Scary Terry's Saturday Nightmare is a 3-hour metal show heard every Saturday from 9 until midnight Central Standard Time on Rock 94.7, 102.9 FM in Central Wisconsin, and worldwide online at rock947.com. And now, more with Martin Van Drunen of Asphyx on Scary Terry's Saturday Nightmare.
Now, Asphyx has a number of European gigs booked at the moment. Do you guys have any plans to hit the U.S.?
Well, we hope so. I mean, the thing is, like, we cannot plan that. You know, that's depending on the offers that you're going to get from the U.S. And unfortunately, for the genre and then the style that we have, it's very tough. You know, for all kinds of bands. You know, unless you take the real big ones, but for all the others, the smaller ones, it's really difficult to go to stage. But I mean, people have seen us already like twice in the Maryland Death Fest. So if there's any other kind of thing, yeah, we'll glad to fly over, because we feel also that U.S. fans do have the right to see us. We just have to wait until there's anything like going on, or until there's someone who goes, okay, you know, how about you guys? You know, I'm setting up a show, and how about flying over? And then we go, yeah, sure, great idea.
Now, Martin, much like the U.S., the Netherlands has been facing a bit of recession over the last couple of years. What sort of impact is that having on the local metal scene there? Well,
honestly, I don't know how it is with the U.S., but back in the days, it was like metal feeds on crisis, doesn't it? I mean, the thing is, like, when people are unhappy and frustrated, then the best thing to do is go to a metal show and let it all out and enjoy yourself, you know? I mean, that was basically why the whole new wave of British heavy metal started and came up, because there was a huge crisis back there, and the mines were closing, the big industries, they closed as well, like the car industry in England, and that all happened like in the Midlands, like Birmingham, Sheffield, Leeds, you know, and that's where all those bands came from. So in that way, it was kind of healthy. And the strange thing is, having this crisis here, it seems to be every year there's more festivals and more spectators and visitors for these festivals that come to see the bands. So in that way, it's not having like a negative impact, really.
Now, Martin, I have to ask, because you hail from the Netherlands, have you ever worn a pair of wooden shoes?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, and now we know. Is that like is that a must for every youth in the country? Or?
No, absolutely not. But it's just that sometimes, because like over here, well, people think it's like a tourist thing, but like the really traditional farmers, they still use these shoes because first, they're cheap. Second, they're very safe. I mean, you can drive a tractor over it, and your foot will still, you know, it's like a steel cap boot. So you have to get used to it. But I used to, you know, wear those when I was in the shed of my dad, like, you know, chopping wood.
No kidding.
Yeah, really. So, and I just asked my dad, like, hey, how about can I use your wooden shoes? And he goes, yeah, sure. You know, just use, because he had the same kind of foot size as me. And I was like, okay, I'll just use those then. No, okay, so I did wear them. Might sound funny, but...
Well, actually, do you guys have Crocs over there? Are you familiar with Crocs?
Crocs?
They're like these rubber shoes that are all the rage in the U.S. I don't know if they've made their way over to the Netherlands yet, but wooden shoes, trust me, they are far less silly looking than Crocs. You can count on that. Google it sometime, you'll agree.
I will, definitely.
Now, Martin, I've got one more question for you, okay?
Yeah.
You've been in the biz for a while, and you've probably been asked just about every question in the book by amateur metal journalists like myself. Is there a question that you wish someone would ask you in an interview, but no one ever does?
Oh, and that's a great one. That's a big surprise, yeah. Well, not that I can think of really now. The thing is, like, if I put down the phone, then something will come up.
I'll tell you what, Martin, the next time Asphyx releases a new album, or if you guys pop over onto the States, we'd love to have you on the show again, and between now and then, you'll have plenty of time to come up with an answer to that question.
Thank you very much, Terry. This one was a pleasure, really. I really mean it. So it was a cool one.
That's Martin Van Drunen, lead vocalist of Asphyx. Check them out on Facebook. Check out their website, asphyx.nl. And make sure you pick up their 8th album, Deathhammer, on February 28th. Martin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for the time and for having us featuring on the show, Terry. I enjoyed it too, really. It was a pleasure.
And thank you for listening to 13 Questions with Scary Terry's Saturday Nightmare. I'm Terry Stevens. Scary Terry's Saturday Nightmare is a 3-hour metal show heard every single Saturday night between 9 p.m. and midnight Central Standard Time on Rock 94.7 and 102.9 FM in Central Wisconsin, and also worldwide online at rock947.com. Check out the official Scary Terry's Saturday Nightmare Facebook page and give it a like. We're also on Twitter. You can follow me at TerryRock947. Thanks again for listening.